Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, let's start off with Felicia because she was one of the people that was actually useful, and I was actually pretty surprised by her. I don't know. I never really had a high opinion of her, mostly due to the fact that, she dropped off her two girls when they were like babies to sit there and try to chase after Frisco and go on adventures and all this other stuff. Um, I'm pretty sure there was more to it, but that's the gist of what I got. But she actually remembered the conversation that she had with Peter. Long story short, she figured out where Maxie is, or where Maxie is being held captive. Now, while this is going on, while she figures it out, Ulbrich figures it out, and Anna eventually figures it out. Anna's along with Dante and Drew because for some odd reason they thought it was a good idea to bring Drew to find Peter. Peter, the one guy who can sit there and control Drew. Yeah, they all thought it was a good idea. Um, but long story short, they all figure out, where Peter's being held, where Peter is, holding Maxie. Now, Maxie is manipulating Peter. And there's one point where Peter's like, where are your earrings at? And she makes up some story. Oh, well, I lost one, and not gonna sit there and just be wearing mismatched earrings, so I just threw out the other one. Peter is still just delusional as hell. Which, by the way, somebody did point out. I think it was Dante or somebody that pointed out. It was a good thing that Peter didn't, check. Didn't go and check, in the bathroom or whatever, because he was very suspicious. Um, Maxie was like, oh, couldn't I just use the restroom or whatever? And Peter was like, are you not going to sit there and try to run away or whatever, right? And for some odd reason, he didn't go and check the bathroom. And yeah, it's something that Dante, I think either Dante or and I think it was Dante that brought that up. Anyway, long story short, they all figure out where Peter's being held at. And of course, like I said, Maxie is there manipulating Peter, which is in full blown delusional mode. So he starts talking about his past and everything like that. His place was very safe when I grew up, and blah blah blah. His sob story. Which, to be fair, he did actually have a crappy childhood. I know I'm sitting there just kind of like brushing it off, but that doesn't give him an excuse to do what he's doing now. Um, but and Maxie's asking questions like, where's his town at? Like when you trust me, we can sit there and like, go for a walk and we can eventually bring the kids there. And Peter's just like, yeah, no, that's a great idea. I'm sitting there thinking, Peter, just to kind of summarize this, Maxie said that she's going to be bringing James and Georgie here. Now, do you honestly think that Spinelli is going to be totally cool with the fact that, sending his daughter or, like Georgie halfway across the country to just be with Maxie? And like that's just going to fly, right? Come on, bro. But for some odd reason, he loves Maxie so much and he's just believing, he's just eating up everything that Maxie Smith is saying. So, there's one point where he brings out a gun and he talks about how he's going to have an escape plan and this, that, and the third. And, yeah, I'm not going to lie, for a Friday episode, it didn't really felt like it left us on a cliffhanger. I mean, yeah, they all know where, Maxie is, but no one was leaving. Also, Victor planted a bug, well, he planted a spy, whatever, um, in the WSB, and one of the guards, he's not there, or the henchman is talking to one of the guards or whatever. Um, the plan is to sit there and try to make sure, well, one, make sure that Peter's dead, and two, make sure that Drew is safe. Now, as far as Dante and Anna goes, they're expendable. Whatever happens to them happens to them. But so yeah, things get dicey, and you have to sit there and take out Peter. They get in the way. Oh well. Throughout this episode, I'm surprised that Nicholas didn't once go and see Spencer. You found that out in the episode, and I'm just like, bro, you didn't attempt to see him once. I mean, I know they were having some bad blood and they were arguing and stuff like that, but like a visit or something. Anyway, Laura comes to go see Spencer, and Spencer, isn't it saying that he's relatively fine, but he's kind of bored and this, that, and the third. I was like, bro, you are literally at Club Med. And he's sitting there whining, and like, I just, anyway, he talks about how, he feels a lot better knowing that, Victor has his back and has having the security guard there, just kind of making sure everything is cool. And Laura still has a problem with that. And I'm sitting there thinking, Laura, would it have been better if he was in Bentonville? I mean, he's in the Cushy Club, a much nicer, safer jail, and he actually has a guard there. Now I understand that Laura has a problem with the fact that he offers his help, and it's going to be something in return. Now I actually found out that this guy was. I'm sitting there thinking in my head, it's like, man, I really should have been watching this. Well, apparently he must have been doing this stuff before I was born, but this guy, when Laura actually does talk to Nicholas and Ava, talk about one of his plans was world domination as far as like freezing the earth or whatever and using the ice princess to like freeze the land and stuff like that. And I'm just like, that that really seemed like some James Bond stuff right there. That seems like something a James Bond villain would do, which is actually right up his alley with the whole, accent and everything like that. But still, Victor was planning on taking over the world. I can see something like that in Pinky and the Brain, but damn, 80s or 70s or something else with their storylines. So anyway, Laura's there talking to Spencer, and they talk about Victor and how Laura's like just be careful because this guy's kind of bad news. He's done a lot of bad things, and that's when she brings up the whole freezing the world and taking over world domination because apparently that was a thing. But Spencer's like, yo, listen, he's been looking out for me. He has a guard there. I mean, besides the fact that there's no AC, he's been really looking out for me. He's still mad, and the thing is, he's still angry about Nicholas faking his death, um, Ava, but going back on her word and everything like that. And I was like, bro, dude, you were like what 8 or 9 when that happened. You're practically 18 years old, and you're still angry at them for that. And now even Laura's like, yo, listen, you've gotten them back. You know, like you've you know what I'm saying? Like you repaid them back with the stuff that you've done. Like why don't you just sit there and drop in and try to make peace? But he's like, when I get out, I'll think about it. I just, I'm not gonna lie. This whole him being mad this long is just, it's stupid to me. It's just really stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. I kind of sound like a hypocrite because I have like held grudges, but like I was never like 12 or 14 and just held a grudge until now. Like that's just like. Now Nicholas and Ava are sitting there talking about renewing their vows, and Victor comes over there and he's like, I want to sit to know if you're present, and they're both like, we're just gonna kind of just do our own thing, just kind of just whatever. Victor did make a good point as far as Spencer being concerned, like you're not gonna invite the whole family, you're just gonna sit there and leave them, in the house or whatever, while you're planning this whole little, separate, renewing our vows stuff or whatever. And he's sitting there talking about kind of brokering some, like a bridge or whatever between the two. And there's one point where, Laura's sitting there talking and, Victor leaves. And, Ava's like, well, maybe he has a point, you know? Like, getting, having Victor kind of like bridge the gap between those two. It's like, all right, listen, we get it. He's kind of a shady person or whatever. But if he can sit there and like bridge that gap between you and between like Nicholas and Spencer, then I don't think it's that bad, you know. And she brings the fact that like if she had a chance to go back and kind of fix things between her and Kiki, she would do it. So like, and of course, Laura's like, listen, whatever he does is it comes at a cost. But I'm like, well, I mean, isn't this cost kind of like worth it, a little bit? Now Victor does go and see Spencer, and Spencer is like grateful and stuff like that. He's like, you've been looking out for me. Besides Laura, you've been like real family to me and stuff like that. And Victor does make a point of Snitcher saying, listen, when you come out, you know, you're a prince or whatever, but you gotta sit there and make amends with your father. He's a Cassadine. So I don't know what his plan is. I mean, yeah, obviously one of his plans is to, manipulate Spencer into, molding him into his will or whatever, but like what is his overall plan? You know? Like as far as him building the bridge, like him like mending fences with like Spencer and Nicholas, you know, because he keeps just saying like, "Oh, our enemies are coming for us, and we got to be ready." This, that, and third. So like, where are these enemies? Um, Now I know I've been called out for like, kind of hating Sam and stuff like that, which I don't hate Sam. Um, was her like character really necessary in this episode? I mean, she didn't really do much of anything. I can't sit there and think of one thing that she actually did that brought any weight or value to the episode. Even when she was among like Austin and Olbrich and Britt and I think that's about it. She didn't really do anything. Like she was just kind of just there. Um, I didn't really see a reason for that. I done combed through my notes like about 3 to 7 times, and I feel like that's mostly about it. I think it's because when you really look at it, Austin, Sam, Olbrich, and Britt were all focused on talking about trying to find Maxie. And the only thing that really came out of it was Olbrich remembering something along, like salt mines or whatever, which confirmed what Anna already knew, what she already theorized. And again, with Anna, Dante, and Drew, which again, I'm going to point out, should not be there. You could have got Chase instead. You know what? Never mind. We're doing the exact same thing. So I felt like a lot didn't really happen in this episode. It's hard to sit there and call it a cliffhanger, but it's Friday, so sure. Um, I also had to sit there and redo this. I just did not like the way the first one came out. So next week is going to be pretty busy because now Days is back, so going to be pretty busy. But with that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I feel like I missed something. I know I don't. I'm trying not to say that, but I feel like I missed something. And if I did, I don't know how important that was. But yes. With that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.